everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Brook Faye. If you're new to this channel, my channel is about law, personal finance, and lifestyle. And this segment today will be on personal finance, specifically on my money management tips that I have and things that I'm doing along my journey to meet some of my financial goals. So let's get right into it. Okay, so the first thing that I have, some of my, like I said, my money management tips. So just a little bit of background really quick. For me, as you know, I have 4 degrees. So some of those I did get full scholarships with. However, some of those I did get in some debt for. And so some of my personal goals, my financial goals are to get out of debt in order to, build more wealth and be able to invest more. So for me, budgeting is very, very important, and it helps me reach those financial goals and, breaking them down into smaller bit-sized pieces so I can pay off that debt and invest more. So the first thing that I would recommend, part of budgeting, is I do a written budget. So this is a little different. And the reason I really want to emphasize the written portion is because for me, I used to budget in Excel. I am an accountant and I love Excel. However, I found that writing things down really helps you manifest your goals on a monthly basis. It's so important to write things down. And I really just have not, seen anything like it when you write your goals down, and even a budget. It really helps me break things down, and every month I, look forward to breaking things out, writing it down, and seeing where my money is going to go. How am I going to properly manage my money to meet my monthly goals? And it feels like such a fulfilling feeling at the end of the month to have that piece of paper and to see that I met those goals or surpassed them. So writing things down is so important. And for me, I do a written budget. And I can do a completely separate video where I actually show you my written budget and what I do and what template I use to create that for me and to help me build and to reach those financial goals. Okay, so the second thing that I do is I do different accounts. I actually, I think it's important, whether it's an investment or anything, I think it's important to diversify your assets and any money that you have. I think it's good to have multiple bank accounts. I don't, necessarily think it's smart to just bank with one bank. It's important to build relationships with different business entities, especially when you get to the point where you want to, get business loans. It's important to, have a bank. Maybe you can do a general one like a Bank of America, Wells Fargo, but it's also good to have smaller banks to go with, credit unions, to build relationships with different banks. And so for me, I do have different bank accounts. And another reason I also do that is because I like to allocate my money, especially with my bills. I found that it was very difficult when having my, monthly salary deposited into one account and then pulling everything out of that, especially when there were different due dates. So for me, what I would do is I would actually name some of my, different checking accounts as a spending account or a bills account. In my bills account, I might put like my car insurance, my utilities, groceries, gas, kind of those smaller bills that can kind of go into that are kind of generally, they kind of vary, but there's kind of in a fixed range over into a separate account. So for me, I actually only pull out of that account my rents, or it can be like any bill that you have larger, like I said, like a mortgage or a car note. That's just personally what I do. So that way, not all of my money is just in one account. Because sometimes I, find that if rent is due at the end of the month and I've got this deposit 10 days later, I might overspend and find myself a little short. So I think it's actually better to, put those and separate those out in different accounts and go ahead and plan early. Okay, so the third thing that I do is when it comes to savings, I actually have an online savings account. And the reason I emphasize online savings is for me, I want my savings account, especially because I'm in a period of paying off debt. I don't want access to it. I don't want to be able to access my savings account just with the snap of a finger. Of course, I do want to be able to access it if I, come in an emergency situation. I want to be able to access those funds. However, I don't want to be able to access them on a daily basis. So the online savings account is a good resource because it is an account that is generally just online. You don't have a checking account with it, you don't have an actual card, but you can transfer it to and from your primary bank or institution. And with that, the reason that I like the online savings is that it's got like normally a 2 to 3 business day transfer. You can do unlimited transfers and more than 6 a month. There are no fees. But for me, it really helps me to stay out of that savings account. It really just helps me to put that money in there, leave it for emergency purposes or for anything I'm saving for, and just leave it and don't touch it. So I think an online savings is a good tactic if you have a hard time, touching your savings or using it as like another checking account. I think that is a great tool to use, and for me, it's been really beneficial. Also, just another point with an online savings account, it can be through any entity. A lot of them are smaller businesses or banks. Like for me, it could be through like Goldman Sachs or anything like that. Just make sure the one that you do, be sure that it's FDIC insured. And what that means is that anything that's in that bank account up to $250,000 is insured by that bank. They meet the government regulations and it will be insured. So if you do an online savings bank account, make sure that it is FDIC insured. Okay, and so the last, actually number 4, what I do is I think it's so important to pay yourself. And so like I said earlier, I have a spendings account and a bills account. And in my spendings account, that's the money that I put for myself to pay myself on a monthly basis. I will say, because I'm paying off debt, I don't pay myself as much as I probably normally would if I weren't. But I think it's still important to pay yourself a portion of whatever you're making. And it sounds kind of funny because you're like, isn't your whole salary your payment? But I think it's important to reward yourself, or even just to put money aside on a monthly basis for when you want to reward yourself. Like I may not spend money from that account every month, but there may be a big month for me, like February. It was my birthday. I went to Los Angeles. That was a bigger month for me. So it was easier for me to pull from that account money that I had been putting in there versus like swiping my credit card or pulling from my savings account. So I think paying yourself is so important. And it's easy because it's already part of your budget anyways. So why not? And it rewards you for the hard work you've done throughout the month. So I think paying yourself is such a beneficial tactic when it comes to money management, and really helps budget easier. Okay, so the last thing that I will say is just, something I find to be very important and something that I do is, I would say to me, it is so important to give back. Just giving back something, whether, you want to do that with your time, with your money, however you choose to do it. I think it's so important to give back. I think you'll find that when you give, it shall come back to you. And I think that it's something that is rewarding in itself. And you have to think, there were people out there who gave to you. So why not give back to others? I think it's so important. I have so many mentors and people who gave their time. And I also have people who even, gave their money when it came to financing my education and helping me reach those goals. So I think it's so important to give back to those who are in those early stages as well. And for those who just, who don't, have those other opportunities elsewhere. So I think it's so important to give back. I think that, like I said, again, you'll find that when you do this, it comes back to you tenfold, and it's just so beneficial and one of the most rewarding feelings. So those are just, some of my money management tips. They've been beneficial to me. And again, I hope, you guys will continue to follow me along as I'm going throughout my money management, as well as reaching my personal finance goals. And if you guys have any questions about it, please comment below. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm on Instagram at _brookefay. And I hope to see you guys again in the next videos. All right, bye.